What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, invading California for Namm 2020, and we return with Equipoise. Thank you so much.
Hey,
brother.
how you doing, guys?
Yeah. It's awesome to have you back here. The last time we spoke was on the tour with Beyond Creation and Fallujah, but you're well into the record cycle for Demiurgus. But could we be expecting some new Equipoise fairly soon?
I'm working on a lot of stuff, so it might be another year or two. But we're trying to actually record by the end of this year, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. Sanjay just told me he has some songs written, so we might integrate that into the album. We're talking like 4 songs, so if I can bang out 4 or 5 more songs by the end of the year, then we can start recording, and we might have something out next year.
Awesome. Do you think, being that Hugo played with Beyond Creation for a period of time like that could have maybe helped you bring in some newer elements to Equipoise?
Yeah, I wrote the bass line, so he kind of basically just played them. He did add his own touch to it, for sure, but it was more like I saw what he was, and that's what I wanted for the band, I definitely wanted his touch. So, yes. Yeah.
Now, I've noticed that, being that the record was so diverse in terms of, song lengths, songs like Shrouded or Illborn Agony, those were relatively shorter ones, but then you have some longer ones. How do you decide, your song length on, how do you feel like you've reached a point where you said everything you had to say?
It's a very organic process. I kind of just let it happen. And if I feel like a certain riff needs to come back, for example, Waking Divinity, the main riff of that song comes back 4 times, I want to say. Some might say that's overkill for a song, but it kind of felt just appropriate. I've heard no complaints from anybody that likes us. And then something like Dualis Flamel, which is 8.5 minutes long, it pretty much repeats the first 1.5 2 minutes of the beginning, and it just kind of felt appropriate. It's like that Vital Remains that if you ever hear the joke about Vital Remains, they write the same song twice. I don't know if it just kind of happens. I think that's the best way music's written, is organically. So.
With guitar, soloing, is there a theoretical element, you're working off of a certain scale or a certain chord progression, or is the guitar work rather improvised?
For Phil and Sanjay, probably yes. Definitely Sanjay. I don't know so much about Phil. For me, absolutely not. I know no music theory, unfortunately. Okay. It's just all from here and here.
Is there ever a preconceived idea or some sort of notion, or is it you kind of let things happen organically?
I just kind of let it happen. Any solo I do, I kind of I sit in my recording software, and I just play around until I get something that I like. So I can't improvise, but I kind of get an idea as I go. What's up, guys?
When it comes to, because when I saw you live on the tour with Beyond Creation and Fallujah, I went back and listened to the album. Both are different experiences, both great. For you, is there a similar energy that you put into your live presence as you do in your songwriting, or is it a completely separate art?
At first, it took me a little while because I had to get comfortable with the whole playing live and everything. It was new to me, but we actually did a run with Beyond Creation, Exist, and Wormhole, which is my other guitarist band, and I found I was a lot more enthusiastic, and it wasn't just because I wanted to be. It was just because I felt it more. I had a little more experience under my belt, so I was able to, I feel put that enthusiasm I had for the album into my live shows, and it reflected with the audience, which was great because they definitely were a lot more engaging and energetic, I felt sometimes. So it was nice to finally put that out, but stage fright gets the best of you sometimes, so it's tough.
When it comes to getting inspired to write music, do you have to wait for inspiration to happen, or do you look for it, or does an idea sometimes just come out of nowhere?
I have more ideas than I ever know what to do with, unfortunately. I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's mostly a good thing, but it's just I have so much music I could always be writing, so definitely no shortage of that. It's just kind of I write in a very linear process, so I start from the beginning. I have an idea. Usually the riff that comes into my head will start out a song, and then I build it from there. And I usually just put a good 4 to 5 days into the song, spend probably about 15, 16 hours, and I get a general skeleton. Say about 50, 60% of the time, that's going to be my final iteration. Otherwise, it's usually going to be tweaked a little bit, but usually the structure remains the same. I just kind of modify the riffing a little bit, but it's a pretty organic and very free-flowing process.
Do you actually, because you kind of so you write something knowing this is going to be an intro, this is going to be an outro, this is going to be a chorus, you kind of write something with the intent of having that?
Yeah, I can't think of a time where I've written, let's say a chorus and then wrote music before that. Generally, it's if I wrote a chorus, that's going to start out the song, which is a problem I also feel I need to work on sometimes. I end up taking my main hook and starting out the song with that. It works. It works for songs. I've heard songs do it, but I feel like I'm kind of falling into the trap of doing it too much, and that gets a little, repetitive. So I'm trying to work on that. But generally, I definitely start from point A and then get to point Z.
Yeah.
So
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with Equipoise you would like to promote in terms of live shows or maybe even some new music?
we don't have anything solidified yet, but, well, no, actually, we're getting ready to do 3 California dates with Flub in the Kennedyville. And then we're going to Mexico with the Faceless in Origin. That's going to be about 2 weeks. So that's exciting.
I just spoke with Michael from the Faceless.
Yeah? Did an interview with him? Nice. We're getting ready to go with them, and then we're trying to work on Europe. If not, we'll try and find another good tour in the U.S. But we definitely want to do at least one other 3-4 week run in the United States or Europe.
Awesome. Well, I hope you hit New York again.
I would love to hit New York again. That pizza, man.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Equipoise. Be sure to pick up Demi Urgis if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York, Namm 2020. We'll see you next time.